Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Golden Opportunities Coaching YouTube and Pro Wrestling Logic YouTube channels. Here on Pro Wrestling Logic, we got over 2,000 audios rather, connecting modern wrestling and old school wrestling back when wrestling was good. In a variety of topics, we try to update several times per week here and keep on top of reviewing modern wrestling. Please like, subscribe, comment below. Anyway, this is the AEW Go Home Show on the 10th of November for the Full Gear Pay Per View 2021. We begin with Bryan Danielson defeating Rocky Romero with the Best Friends. Danielson and Romero basically shake hands to start the match. Big technical exchange, and then it leads to a stalemate. Romero then nails Danielson on the floor and frustrates him. Orange Cassidy is outside taunting Danielson, puts his hands in his pockets, and Romero then uses the distraction and dives to the outside on Bryan. Of course, every match needs a dive. Romero continues to target Danielson's upper body and shoulders throughout. Danielson then turns it around in the corner and hits a bunch of yes kicks. He then locks on the Romero special before sending that into a Dragon Sleeper variation. Romero fights off by going to a double wrist lock. Danielson then sits on the floor again, where Romero hits a jumping Rana, and we go back to the ring. Romero hits a slice spread number 2 for near fall. They fight on the top turnbuckle, back suplex, but Romero turns that into a crossbody for a near fall. He applies an armbar. Danielson then kicks out, but Danielson reverses that into a power bomb, trading holds with Romero targeting the arm, and Danielson again with his sights set on Romero's leg. Danielson then cradles Romero out into a triangle and crushes him with a buzzsaw kick. He then counters the slice spread into repeated arm locks and stomps before applying the crab and for a submission. Really good match, and a lot of people are liking that part of the new Bryan Danielson. The Inner Circle and American Top Team Brawl. This is kind of, I mean, it's here. I'm not necessarily a fan of it right in front of the pay per view, but the Inner Circle was introduced by Tony Schiavone. American Top Team attacked during Jericho's song. Dos Santos lays in body shots on Guevara. They send Santana into the ring steps, and Dos Santos hits Jericho a bunch of times with kendo sticks, and Arlovsky nails Ortiz with a trash can. I mean, it sets up the match. I'm not necessarily sure that this is something they should be putting a lot of time into before the pay-per-view, but I understand why. If you're bringing in the UFC fighters, you might as well do it. Sky and Page set up a table and powerbomb Jericho through the table. Sky and Page then grab a mic, and so they wouldn't just win at Full Gear, they'd ensure that Lambert pinned Jericho. Lambert puts Jericho in the walls and screams, "It's called a Boston Crab," which technically is true. Anyway, Ty Conti, Thunder Rosa, Anna Jay defeat Britt Baker, Jamie Hayter, and Rebel. This is ahead of Conti's opportunity to face off against Britt Baker for the Ladies' Championship in just a little while at the pay-per-view. Hayter and Rosa get into it before the match even begins. Rosa and Baker flees, or Baker flees and goes to tag Rebel, who is taken care of by Rosa. Rebel's partners then interfere on her behalf and kind of keep things going in her general direction in a positive way. Conti then gets a hot tag. She goes nuts on her opponent's clotheslines, but gets overwhelmed with the numbers game. Rosa and Hayter face off, and then there's a bunch of moves, leading to all 6 ladies down. Rosa then hits a top rope crossbody onto Hayter and then onto the floor. Rebel then gets left alone in the ring, where Conti hits a hammerlock DDT for the win ahead of her pay-per-view opportunity. Video promo hyping Chris Statlander versus Ruby Soho for the TBS Championship Tournament, which, in theory, could be a decent enough match. Jungle Boy defeats Anthony Bowens. I don't think this belongs on the Dynamite before a pay-per-view, but you gotta have filler somewhere, I suppose. Bowens establishes a small advantage, but Jungle Boy fires up when Bowens gets a little cocky, and then takedown. Jungle Boy then holds an advantage for a long time, playing and hits a springboard arm drag until Caster interferes and allows Bowens to take control, leading to a commercial. On return, Jungle Boy makes a comeback with a rebound lariat. Bowens then comes back with a thrust kick for a near fall, and then Jungle Boy locks on the snare trap, but Caster hops on the apron. Jungle Boy then takes care of Caster, takes him out with a dive, but Bowens hits a Hangman's DDT for near fall. Jungle Boy then counters again and goes to lock on the snare trap, flipping off Caster and forcing Bowens into a tag position. After the match, Bobby Fish runs out, takes Jungle Boy out, hitting an exploder suplex into the ropes. Christian Cage and Luchasaurus run out to make a save. Interesting to put that pairing together. Then Kenny Omega Hangman Page video promo airs, discussed the heartbreak and adversity that Page has gone through in the last couple of years in AEW, and then he wants the World Championship more than anything in the world. Omega said Page doesn't stand a chance. I'm hoping that Page wins for two reasons. I think the storyline has been well done over the past couple of years, and anything to get the belt off of Omega. The Super Click are celebrating Bobby Fish's beatdown of Jungle Boy. Cole introduces Fish to the Young Bucks. Matt reminded Fish that there's no dispute in AEW. It will be Fish versus Jungle Boy on Rampage. Cole asks Fish to leave, just a little bit of Jungle Boy left for Full Gear. CM Punk and Eddie Kingston video promo airs, recapping the promo battle from Rampage last week, which wasn't bad by any stretch of the imagination. Wardlow defeats Wheeler Yuta along the way here. Obviously a one-sided match. And again, squashes right before pay-per-view. I'm not a fan. Yuta stumbles into a step-up, and Wardlow takes advantage. Spinebuster. He then nails Yuta with a series of power bombs. Casualty of War followed for a squash victory. After the match, Hardy Family Office attacks Yuta. Orange and Chuck hits the Twist of Fate through a chair, or Hardy hits Twist of Fate through a chair on Orange. Show comes back from the break. CM Punk and Eddie Kingston had to be separated in the parking garage. A bunch of wrestlers do a, run in there. Leo Rush and Dante Martin, Matt Sydal and Leo Moriarty. Again, why is this on a major segment of a pre-pay-per-view show? They should be hyping stuff that actually matters, not giving flippies a bunch of time. Anyway, Rush's grandmother passed away this week. That's unfortunate. He obviously dedicates the match to her memory, which is classy, on social media, and then has a phenomenal performance. Moriarty and Dante performed a bunch of choreographed spots, which might be nice for Cirque du Soleil, do not belong in wrestling, however, and they started the match in this manner. The partners tag in, and then Moriarty allows Sydal to take Rush down with a kick. Rush then comes back with a step-up Rana, breaks down into a four-way ahead of the commercial break. Then we go to Dante hitting a springboard dropkick upon return from the commercial break, allowing him to reach Rush, but Moriarty then immediately takes down Big Boot and hits a running uppercut. Rush then follows off both opponents, hitting a cyclone kick on Sydal and an enziguri on Moriarty. He then hits the handspring double elbow and nipped up, landing on both opponents. Moriarty pops to the top rope, taking Dante down with a throw and a near fall. Rush then dispatches Sydal and Dante for the double springboard moonsault. Moriarty gets the win. Miro addresses Bryan Danielson. He asked if Danielson could comprehend his god. Miro then makes a promise to win the tournament and put the World Championship over his own shoulder. Pac and Dax Harwood, of course, Harwood coming out with Tully Blanchard. Both do a bunch of technical wrestling early, but neither could establish complete control. They trade forearms in the center of the ring. Pac then hits a snap German and sends Dax to the floor, and then hits a Fosbury flop to the outside before the commercial break. Then Dax is busted open somewhere in the midsection, chest, shoulder area. Anyway, fighting on the top rope when they return from commercial, Pac hits a nasty top rope brainbuster for a near fall. Why is a brainbuster off the top rope a near fall? That's stupid. No psychology. But anyway, hits a missile drop kick as Tully improved Dax to get back up, and Dax then rolls out of the way of the Black Arrow, and there's a distraction from Blanchard, allowing Dax to hit the sheer drop brainbuster for a near fall of his own. Then Pac climbs the ropes again, but Dax pops up, hits an avalanche back suplex, then turns Pac inside out with a lariat, and then hits a rebound Liger bomb for near fall. Then they trade strikes before a backslide allows Pac to apply the brutalizer for the submission victory. After the match, the lights go out. Crash, Wheeler, Mikael Black, and Andrade appeared to beat down Pac. The Lucha Brothers and Cody Rhodes run out, and everyone brawls away. The AEW Rampage for Friday, Lumberjack match, Arch Cassidy, Matt Hardy, who cares, and Jungle Boy Bobby Fish, that could be good. The full lineup for the pay-per-view on Saturday is the buy-in Thunder Rosa, Hikaru Shida versus Nyla Rose and Jamie Hayter. Meh. Hey, CM Punk and Eddie Kingston, that could be good. Pac and Cody Rhodes versus Mikael Black and Andrade. I don't know. I'd rather just see Cody and Black again. World Title Eliminator Tournament Final, Danielson and Miro, that could be super good. Minneapolis Street Fight, Inner Circle, American Top Team. I understand the angle. I'm not necessarily a fan of the match, though. Darby Allin and MJF, that'll be good for sure. MJF hopefully picking up a winning, continuing momentum. Super Click versus Christian Cage and Jurassic Express just seems there to get them on the show. Britt Baker and Ty Conti could be decent enough. I don't think Conti's ready for the spot, but at least there's a try. AEW World Tag Team Championships, Lucha Brothers and FTR. I think that'll be a clash of styles, and I'm not necessarily a fan of the match. And then Kenny Omega, Hangman Page. Hopefully Page gets a victory here. Then we go into a video promo for MJF and Darby Allin. They're two of the four pillars of AEW. Allen's going to try to break the AEW mentality, and MJF's going to try to beat him with a headlock takeover. That would be hilarious. Anyway, the contract signing closes the show. Not necessarily a fan of contract signings closing the show, but it's wrestling trope that everybody does. Then they sit across from each other at the end of the long table. Page then does a challenge and goes to sign first. He then said sooner or later, the sooner he gets to Full Gear and beats Omega, fans are solidly behind Page. Omega said that if it wasn't for Page's insecurity and failures, he could have been world champion. He could have the world championship and backing of the Elite. Omega then saw a bit of himself in Page, how wrong he was. What a disappointment that Page is. Page then says Omega also had a tag partner and perhaps didn't measure up, referencing Dakota Ibushi. When Omega beat Page at Full Gear last year, he told Page, good job, Hanger, but Omega wasn't proud of Page. He then scared of him. Page then will become the fear that Page wins the World Championship this Saturday. And then, of course, Omega said that he wanted to be the guy to see Page reach his potential. He offered to shake Page's hand. He says, let's kill it. At the pay-per-view, they shake hands, and Omega said, good job, Hangman. I'm proud of you. The cameraman then decks Page, and he carries his unmasked as Don Callis. Page is then busted open. Omega smirks and sneers and sends his blood all over the contract, and the show ends. I don't know, strong enough angle, but I hate the contract signing concept. Hopefully the pay-per-view is good. It's better than anything WWE is going to put on anytime soon, so it's good in that regard at least. We'll be back with more right after this.